Hi, I'm Bodnarchuk, President and CEO of Cosa Resources. I'm joined here by Andy Carmichael, our VP of Exploration, and we're here today to talk to you about a transformational transaction we just recently announced with Denison Mines Corp, where we're getting a suite of highly prospective projects, and Denison becoming really our largest and most strategic shareholder. So I will be making some forward-looking statements. I encourage you guys to review this on our website. It is a recently announced transaction, so we will be subject to certain closing conditions. So this is really a strategic collaboration between two companies, obviously Cosa Resources and Denison Mines. With Cosa Resources, Denison Mines is getting access to really a top-tier exploration team that's been involved with multiple discoveries, being our largest shareholder, getting exposure to our already existing portfolio of projects. And for us, we're getting access to really a large strategic shareholder in Denison Mines, who is really one of the best development stories currently in the Athabasca Basin, developing their Phoenix deposit. They have a really strong treasury. They're over a $2 billion company. They have working capital of greater than $100 million and physical uranium holdings of greater than $240 million. So really a deep-pocketed strategic investor to have. And most importantly, they're pioneering the ISR technology for unconformity style uranium deposits in the Athabasca Basin. So it's really something where it's two groups that are coming together here to advance some great projects, but also really develop a strategic collaboration going forward. So a few more details about the transaction. I encourage you all to review it in more detail. It's in the press release that we just recently announced, but we will be acquiring 70% interest of the Darby, Murphy Lake North, and Packrat projects. In exchange, Denison will become just under a 20% shareholder of Cosa Resources. Denison has also importantly committed to participating a minimum of $1 million in future financings for Cosa. The projects themselves, Murphy Lake North, located within 4 kilometers of the Hurricane deposit, which is one obviously our management team was part of the discovery of. Darby project, which is within 10 kilometers of Cigar Lake uranium mine. It's currently the world's largest uranium mine. And Packrat project, which is 19 kilometers southwest of Cameco's Rabbit Lake mill. So 3 terrific projects really located in Tier 1 areas of the Athabasca Basin. As I mentioned before, please, I encourage you to review more details about the transaction itself, which is available in our press release. It's capital structure. Just want to give you guys a highlight of what we're going to look like before and what we're going to look like after. So post-transaction, we'll have just over 71 million shares outstanding. Cash position heading to Q4, we have just about 3.6 million Canadian in the treasury. So a strong treasury. And importantly, you'll see Denison Mines come onto the share registry at just under 20%. Really a strong shareholding. We do have a float of just around 38%. And so I think it really is a differentiator amongst our peers, having that tight share structure. So these are the projects themselves. The 3 projects, Darby, Packrat, and Murphy Lake North. As mentioned, we will be getting 70% of these projects. They're located in Tier 1 areas of the Athabasca Basin. And really, they are complementary to our current suite of projects and really allows us to continue to focus on that east side of the Athabasca Basin. They are additional 21,000 hectares. And like I said, we've really built a terrific pipeline of pristine Athabasca Basin projects in the eastern portion of the basin. I'll pass it off to Andy here, though, to go into more detail on each project, starting off with Murphy Lake North.
Yeah, I think Keith, you really hit the nail on the head when you said we're getting 3 great projects. And critically in the infrastructure-rich eastern Athabasca Basin. Starting off with Murphy Lake North, we're very excited to get our feet back on the ground on the LaRock Lake trend. This is a really fertile trend, perhaps one of the most fertile in the eastern Athabasca Basin. Numerous occurrences of very high grades, including the world's highest grade uranium deposit, the Hurricane deposit, which our team discovered in 2018. Murphy Lake North ticks all the boxes for a great project. Importantly, it's situated on that well-known mineralized trend. Secondly, it has great exploration space. There's more than 6 kilometers of conductive strike length spread across 2 trends in the project, which have only been tested by 4 drill holes. The results are really positive, even though the work's limited. Drilling on one of those trends intersected basement structures that we interpret to be the strike extension of those that control Hurricane. And on the other trend, weak basement mineralization was intersected by historical drilling. The icing on the cake is that the unconformity at depth is only about 250 meters below surface. And the geophysical work's done. It's ready to drill, and that's what we intend to do shortly after closing this transaction. Next up is Darby. Darby is a project that several of us in our group worked on early in our Eastern Athabasca careers, but we didn't have the basin experience or knowledge that we do now. And frankly, the project suffered for it. And it's basically sat dormant since then. But the fact is, Darby has tens of kilometers of prospective strike length, and nearly all the drilling was done as single hole fences. Most of those holes missed their target and were never followed up, and the project's wide open. And it's a bit of a Goldilocks scenario. There's enough drilling to demonstrate that prospective geology is on the project, but there's not nearly enough drilling to have closed off any of that conductive strike length that's so prospective. And the challenge here is not identifying walk-up targets, it's deciding which ones to drill first. And finally, we have Packrat. Packrat sits just inside the edge of the Athabasca Basin. It's adjacent to the Collins Bay Thrust Fault, and it's less than 100 meters depth to the unconformity. Denison drilling in 2013 intersected some weak mineralization in the basement, and that has not been followed up still. And we think it is a great opportunity to chase some Rabbit Lake-style mineralization. And with that, I'll hand it back off to Keith.
Thanks, Andy. Yeah, really 3 exciting projects that we're eager to get to as soon as we can. So what's next for us? We do have assays still pending for our URSA project where we hit radioactivity in our most recent drill programs. We're excited to get those out and update the market. We also have A&T results coming back from both URSA and our Orion project. We'll have VTEM and gravity results coming out for Orbit and Aurora. So I think, importantly, we have had some success drilling, but we also have created really that pipeline of targets to take us through the next few years. And importantly, the closing of the Denison transaction. We'll be working as quickly as we can to get that closed as soon as possible. And then we'll keep updating the market for our plans for 2025 exploration at our 100% owned projects and, of course, the recently acquired Denison JV projects. So why Cosa? I'll just finish it by saying we are a team that has been responsible for multiple discoveries in the past through ISO Energy, our previous time at Denison Mines. We have been able to create billions of dollars of value over the years through discovery. We have a absolutely fantastic pipeline of targets that's been further strengthened by this recent acquisition with Denison Mines, and we're very eager to get out on those projects and get drilling, especially with Murphy Lake North being that first one we'd want to get to. Timing, it feels we're in really early on in what's going to be a long-term uranium boom. The junior equities haven't really seen that pick up in valuations yet, but it seems like that's going to be the next leg of this uranium boom. So I'm very excited with this recent transaction, how that differentiates us, I'd say, from our peers and structure. We remain very tightly held. Bringing on a strategic, strong shareholder like Denison Mines, I think, as I mentioned, really separates us from our peers. And so we're very excited by this transaction. It's truly transformational, and we're even more excited to get going and get exploring again here in early 2025. Thank you.